Hi, I'm Jeff McErlain for TrueFire, and here's my latest installment of Tighten Up Your Blues. And right now we're going to talk about dynamics. And what dynamics are is when you change the level of volume in your playing. I'm using dynamics right now as I'm speaking to you, right? So to have an interesting conversation with someone, you use dynamics. It's not like you're going to speak at one volume level the whole time and not change anything. People would lose interest in the conversation, and it's the same exact thing with music. I feel like if something is the same volume level the whole way through, I start to lose interest because the whole emotional content is not there. And a lot of what I'm talking about here in Tighten Up Your Blues is the nuance of music. And this is one of those, it's not really a nuance. It seems like it is at first, but when you start listening to really good music, you find out, well, there's dynamics all over the place. So classical music and jazz and blues and metal, like you talk about Metallica, not everything is super big, loud, and heavy. They bring it down, they bring it back up. Now, certain songs, of course, you want to be just loud and in your face the whole time. But that's the point of that tune, but that's not going to work for everything. And I know when I hear a player who's not incorporating dynamics, I find my interest starts to wane. So the first thing we can do to work on dynamics is to just basically play an E blues. I'll give you an idea. So 3, 4. Okay, so you see how I changed the dynamics a lot. Just the intro, if I had went, it becomes really boring really quickly. Now, of course, if you're just learning the blues, fantastic. You got to do that, right? But now when you feel like you've got that under your hands, you can start to make some real music with it. So what I'm thinking about is just picking louder and softer. A great place is beat 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, so I can really nail that downbeat. That's a great place to start. Also, if I'm doing these eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, I might miss some of those on purpose or ghost them a little bit. See, I didn't get every one. I'm not doing. By leaving a few of those out, it kind of propels the whole thing forward and gives it this great laid-back feel while kind of giving it this forward motion. You know what I mean? So it's the dynamics that I'm adding into the playing that I think that makes the blues interesting. If not, I'm just basically playing your straight old kind of blues variations in E. Okay, so the same thing also holds true for your lead playing. So if I'm going to play a lick, so if I went, I can phrase that differently with how I choose to hit the notes, harder or softer. So it's a pick dynamic, right? So I'm going to pick harder, soft. So I'm going to go right down to pentatonic scale. So by picking some notes harder than a blues scale or much more interesting, isn't it? So when I'm speaking to you again, once again, the vocal equivalent is when I'm talking to you, I'm speaking softer and I'm speaking louder. It keeps the interest much higher than if I'm just playing the same rhythm the whole time through, which I find to be really boring and not very musical and not very dynamic. So if you listen to all the great players, Albert King, B.B. King, Page, Hendrix, Clapton, Robin Ford, Jeff Beck, all these guys are masters of dynamics. Any great singer, any great musician is a master of dynamics. So it's something you really want to get into your playing, and you can really practice it. Like everything I've talked about, you want to practice it with intent. So I'm playing through a blues, I'm thinking about I'm going to play louder, I'm going to play softer. How can I make this more interesting? How can I pick the note? Right, so I kind of picked some notes louder and some notes softer, and it just adds a whole other emotional element to your guitar playing. That, to me, is absolutely essential. Okay, so good luck with this. I'm Jeff McErlain. This is Tighten Up Your Blues, and I'm here with TrueFire. And feel free to check out my website, jeffmcerlain.com. Thanks.